Greg Frank, the credit educator here with Superior Credit Care, teaching you how to defeat the debt collectors. So here's a question. What do you do when a debt collector is just routinely breaking the law and continually violating your rights? What recourse do you have? Let's suppose that they continue to call you even after you've sent them a cease communication letter, or they're calling you at work every day even though you've asked them not to, or they're harassing a family member about your debt, or any other number of violations that they might have. Do you have a recourse? Do you have to take it? The answer is absolutely you have a recourse. You need to fight back. Now, fighting back can be done in one of two ways. First is filing formal complaints. Okay, what we want to do is get the regulatory agencies involved to examine the situation. This usually works very effectively. So who do we write to? Who do we complain to? The Federal Trade Commission, the Attorney General of the state you live in, the Attorney General of the state that the debt collector is located in. There are governing bodies that govern the collection industry in general, such as ACA International, the Better Business Bureau. Anyone and everyone you can think of. The more pressure you put on them, the more likely you are to get a positive result from the situation. The second remedy you have to fight back is to actually file a lawsuit against your creditors. That's right. If a creditor is violating the Fair Debt Collections Practices Act or the Fair Credit Reporting Act or both, you have the right to sue them. And the minimum statutory damages that can be awarded is $1,000 per violation. So those violations can rack up fairly quickly. Now you're going, wait a minute, I can't afford to file a lawsuit. I don't know how to do that. Well, there's a couple of options that you have. There are networks of attorneys who will file these types of lawsuits on a contingency basis, which means, of course, that you don't pay them unless you actually win. Also, there are paralegals who can help you prepare and file a pro se lawsuit. That's where you go to court and represent yourself. Now, if you have a good case, you don't have to worry about losing. The case will never actually get to court. They will normally settle it before it ever gets to that point. But before you do either filing a lawsuit or filing a formal complaint, there's one important step you cannot skip, and that is to document, document, document. You want to keep track of every single violation. So make sure you record each phone call. If they leave messages, don't delete those messages, but keep a journal, keep track. Every time they call, every time they send you a letter, what is said, all that kind of stuff, because you want to have a good case. So this way you can say, listen, I sent this cease communication letter and they called me on this date and this date and this date and this date, etc., etc. So the better your documentation, the better the case you have, the more likely you are to win. So if you would like assistance in terms of fighting back with a collector who's breaking the law and violating your rights, just fill out the consultation request box right below this video and I'll be glad to assist. Thanks for listening.